I've been away for a bit. I've been in college, and I'm excited. I got another vacation story. I've got pictures and videos from my vacation on my Instagram highlights, so check those out if you want. My Instagram is dankity_spankity. I've also been posting reels on Instagram and YouTube, so make sure you guys check those out too. And let's get into it. rs0 vacation. If you guys didn't know what rs0 is, it's basically this sticky oil substance from the Zaza you can eat. You can't smoke it, but I'll get into it a little more in a bit. This story takes place back in June 2024. This was a point in time where I was doing good for myself because I didn't have a wrist injury. My wrist was pretty much healed and I was making a lot of money. And I wanted to save up to travel. I wanted to go to an Airbnb, specifically in the mountains. I had made plans to go with my aunt, and me and her had gone on a few vacations to Cape Cod, but this time she wanted to go on a nature type vacation. So we were going to get this mountain Airbnb. This was my first ever Airbnb, and me and my aunt split the price 50-50 on it. We left on a Saturday morning at exactly 8 a.m., and my aunt was the one driving the entire road trip, the whole vacation. So on this first day, she drove for 10 hours, and I was taking the rs0 throughout the day. I was relaxed, but my aunt knew that I had smoked, and she was aware of all the buffoonery. But I kept it low-key. I can't tell you guys exactly how many milligrams of rs0 I took during this vacation, because I was just putting a small blob on whenever I used it. I was putting the rs0 syringe onto cookies and candy in the bathroom. And whenever we would stop at rest stops, I would prepare the rs0 and stuff. But I was nervous because this rs0 had smelled like it was strong. Like when I opened it up, I could smell it. It was a nice road trip. I was just chilling, relaxing. And we were on the road for 10 hours. And we eventually found a hotel to settle down for the night because we were still about more than halfway to our destination. My aunt got us this nice hotel. It was this Hilton Gardens or something. We had this clean room and it was real modern and stuff. And we were on the 6th floor. There was a restaurant and a fancy bar and a gym. And there was this saxophone player this evening. And I like jazz. I like me some jazz. And I was feeling the rs0. I remember it was really hot. And we were somewhere in South Carolina. And I didn't want to be outside for that long, and neither did my aunt. So we enjoyed the music, and then we went inside. And we checked out the gym. We were playing around with the exercise equipment. And we were just fooling around, killing time. We were tired from traveling, so eventually we went back to the hotel room. I'm nervous when it comes to smoking in public, so I had this rs0. I had about 4 big blobs throughout the day. And I was chilling. I brought my laptop into the hotel room. I was playing some video games. And the rs0 I had taken was hitting just right before I had gone to sleep. And I had slept pretty good that night. Day 2. The day starts and my aunt drives from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We get to the Airbnb and it's this 2-story modern looking cabin, but like not a log cabin. I don't know how to describe it, but it's made out of wood. It's pretty nice looking, and it's 2 stories, and there's 2 balconies, one on each story, and one of them has a hot tub and the other had some rocking chairs, and it was pretty high up. I'm a little scared of heights, but I was chilling. This was just a cool cabin. The downstairs had a living room, kitchen, and a bedroom. And the 2nd floor had a bathroom, and it wasn't a room, but it was like an open area with a bed and TV and a dresser. And the other half of the 2nd story was this walkway to the balcony. And from the walkway, you could see the kitchen, the living room. It was pretty cool. So we unpack, and after we get settled in, I smoke half a joint of some Jello gelato. I made sure to get the best stuff I could. When I go on vacation, I roll my joints before because I don't want to spend so much time rolling on vacation. I was smoking on the balcony and there was just trees everywhere, and then there was the road about 100 feet down. So I couldn't really see the mountains, but it was still a vibe. I was chilling for the rest of the evening and the Airbnb was so cozy, so I slept really good that night. Day 3. I wake up, I smoke a little, I eat a good breakfast, and then we're on the road headed to this scenic place in the forest. This day was such a beautiful day. The weather was perfect, the temperature was perfect, the mountain air was just so clean and crisp. We had the windows down and we were deep in the mountains on this crazy road, and my aunt had to do some off-roading. But luckily, she drives a Jeep, so we were pretty confident in its abilities. We found a place to park up, and we were taking some good photos by the river. After that, we went to a few stores, and I was wanting something fancy to eat. I found this restaurant online, and I'm not going to tell anybody on here where it is or the name of it, because all the locations, they burned down, so nobody can get any of the food anymore. But we were there and it was such a nice vibe. There was some jazz music, and it was a weird hour when me and my aunt got there, so there was literally nobody there the entire time we were there. My aunt had gotten a soup and I had gotten some Capri tomato bread. It had balsamic on it, it had like mozzarella and these little flower petal things on. Usually not something I'd eat. Usually I eat like chicken tenders or pizza, french fries. It also had basil pesto, and I don't think I've ever had that honestly, but it was really good. It hit different. Next we got to the Nature Visitors Center. I was being a fiend because I couldn't exactly smoke on the trail. There were so many people because it was one of the most popular trails. So I went to the public bathroom and I was getting the RSO ready. And I was getting the cookie ready, and I was trying to squeeze the RSO onto it. And it was kind of hard. I felt nervous. There were so many people in that bathroom, and I knew that this RSO had smelled. It was that dank. It was 710 Labs brand. We check out of the visitor center. I get my RSO, and there's this little shop. There's some maps, some stuffed animals and stuff, and then we go to this waterfall hike. And there were so many people, but I was feeling the RSO. I was chilling. I was vibing. I was listening to music on my headphones, and I was just lost in the moment, absorbing nature. We hike a little more, and we get to this nice waterfall. It's about 40 feet tall, and there was probably 100 people taking pictures. It was really busy. But I felt like I was in my element. I went right up to the waterfall, and I touched it. I was feeling the water cascade down my arm, and I was just faded. There was some moss on the rocks, and I was feeling the water and the cool mist, and I was really connecting with nature. But we finished up the hike. We couldn't stay there forever. And next we go to the ice cream shop. It was right by this little creek, and I had a memorable time there. I had some vanilla ice cream, but it was yellow and blue, and I got myself a little peach soda. I don't usually drink soda, so this was a nice little treat. After that, we needed to stock up on groceries for the vacation, so we went to the store. I was taking RSO throughout the day, and when me and my aunt were in the store, I really felt high. I felt the RSO, and more RSO hit. I could feel my eyes were getting low, and that really hasn't happened much since high school. I don't feel like I took that much, but it was just really strong. And I had turned my phone camera on to see, and my eyes were red, and I was scared the workers would see and my aunt would see. It was so obvious. But I was good, and I even asked my aunt about it later, and she said she didn't notice. And soon we left the store, and we got some good food. We ate, we're chilling in the cabin, and it's the evening, so I'm smoking on the balcony. I was chilling, feeling the mountain air. And I've only ever gone camping or stayed in a boring hotel, but this cabin was definitely an experience. It was something new. I had the whole upstairs to myself, and my aunt was watching TV downstairs. I was upstairs on my laptop playing some Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. I was listening to some liquid drum and bass, and eventually I fell asleep. Day 4. I slept good that night, and I woke up around 6 a.m. I was feeling good. I smoked half a joint, and I had a good breakfast. I ate some eggs and some potatoes and some berries, and then we got on the road for the day. And the first stop, me and my aunt went back to the ice cream shop. I got some blueberry donuts, and she got some cinnamon, and we were on the road. We were headed deeper into the mountains this day. It was a nice drive. It was like 9:30 in the morning. We had the music playing, the windows down. The air was so cool. And it was about a 45-minute drive through the curvy mountain roads, but it didn't matter because we were going through the scenery. There was a stream that ran parallel the entire way. I'm chilling, and eventually I see a waterfall on the side of the road. And it looked like a waterfall that had a treasure chest on the inside of it. But I couldn't get to it because it was on the other side of this stream and it was deep. There's like a bunch of rocks, and we took our pictures and then we head off. I've been to this place before that we were going to, but I never seen this waterfall before. And it wasn't marked on Google or mentioned on any of the websites. That was definitely one of the coolest waterfalls I've ever seen. And around 10:30 a.m., we get to the national park and it's just so beautiful. There's all these mountains and hills, and it looks like a Microsoft screensaver. There were all these scenic vistas and some historic buildings, and next we were going to the swimming hole. At this point, it's around noon, and I don't remember what we had to eat, but me and my aunt eat a little something, and I go to the porta potty and I change. It was so nasty, but I really wanted to go swimming. This place was deep in the mountains, so there wasn't any plumbing or running water. I had a core memory at this swimming hole. I went to this exact same swimming hole when I was 9, and I never knew where it was until I found it online before this vacation. I had been taking rs0 throughout the day, and I was feeling pretty good at this point. I felt really refreshed from the cold water, and it was so cold I had only gone in about waist deep. I couldn't swim. I really wanted to swim, but it was too cold for me. I really tried. And I tried to get in a little deeper, and that's when I stubbed my toe. I remember it hurt so much. But I was okay. I was so faded. I was chilling. But eventually we leave. I change into some dry clothes, and we're headed down the road. And there's this pull-off spot. I didn't really know what it was at first, but we go in, and there's a lot of cars, and there's another waterfall, it turns out. And this was different and cool because this one was made from blasting dynamite in the early 1900s. And there's this little nature walk a little bit further down, and there was cliff jumping. And I've never done cliff jumping. That's honestly one of the things I wanted to do as my summer bucket list, but unfortunately I missed out because I already changed into some dry clothes. I would have pushed myself and definitely gone. I wanted to do something crazy that summer. It was like only a 15-foot drop. I was chilling. I was cool with not going. And I was watching the people jump off. That was fine for me until next year. At this point, we're driving back to the Airbnb. And I don't think anything eventful honestly happened this evening. I was just smoking and vibing and playing video games. And I hung out on the balcony of the Airbnb. I remember I ate good and then I slept good too. Day 5. I remember waking up, smoking a little, and I was cooking breakfast. I was trying to make an egg, and I cracked it open, and instead of it being in the bowl, I ended up making it onto the counter, and it was just so funny to me. This day, we were headed to the shops. I remember going to the Delta 8 shops, and it was so cool because in the window, you could see the actual plant growing. We checked out some more shops, and there was this crazy dessert shop. Most of the shops there were souvenir shops, which I wasn't really that interested in. It was about 12 noon at this point, and we head off to the campgrounds. We weren't camping, but we had a picnic table reservation. I remember me and my aunt were having a picnic, and next we were headed onto the hike. And this hike I've been to so many times, and I know the smoke spots. There was this little creek, and we were walking along it, and there was like this little bridge, and there was a few people, and they had full painting sets and easels. It was cool to see, and their paintings were pretty good. I wish I was doing that. But me and my aunt, we were hanging out, and we were around this old historic cabin structure. Like it was just like the stone part of it, like it burned down or something. But I guess it just got so old. But we're talking to some random lady, and I was faded. I was just smiling and nodding the whole time. And eventually she left. And my aunt just wanted to sit there and enjoy nature. She had like a knee problem, so she couldn't walk that much. And I told her I was heading off, and she was like, okay. The smoke spot was just a little bit down the way, and nobody could see me. My aunt kind of knew I was heading off beforehand. I was gone for 40 minutes. I told her I was going to be gone that long, and I had timed it. I was smoking by this little creek, and I saw woodpeckers, bumblebees, dragonflies. I saw wild strawberries, and I also picked up this harvestman spider. I was probably 100 feet from where my aunt was, so I wasn't worried about the smell. The 40-minute timer goes off. I head back, and she's talking to this random lady, this other random lady, and I'm so faded at this point. I'm hanging around, acting like I don't know her. I'm like some other person, and I'm waiting for this lady to leave. And eventually she leaves, and I walk over to my aunt. I'm like, oh, hello. And then we head out. We're walking back to the car on the trail. And some of this might be a little fuzzy to me. I'm explaining this based off my Snapchat memories and my own memories. I think at this point it was routine for me to smoke at the Airbnb around 6 p.m. and just chill and listen to music on the balcony. I honestly didn't think I could make this video almost 16 minutes long, so I'm going to try to wrap this up. So day 6, it was unfortunately the last full day, and we were leaving in the morning to drive back home. I did my usual smoke on the balcony. I had an omelet and some potatoes. I remember me and my aunt went out to a few of the shops. Some of them were kind of boring, so I was outside taking a bunch of pictures of the flowers and bumblebees and butterflies. I remember on the last day, me and my aunt were sad to leave. We were trying to soak in the whole Airbnb cabin mountain experience. And we had a nice little dinner. We enjoyed the evening, and we were chilling, listening to music. And the last day, we were packing up. We were getting a little feel for the place before we leave. And unfortunately, we were on the road by around noon. I wasn't sad, but it really sucked leaving. Like, I wanted to live like that every single day. Like, how do I make money to live like that every single day? But we were on the road, and we were heading home. And I was having rs0, I was listening to some music, and my aunt was driving for a real long time. And eventually we made it to a Chick-fil-A. I got strawberry milkshake and some chicken tenders. I remember it was smacking, I was vibing. After that, we drove home, and eventually we were home. So this is my vacation 2024 story. Thank you to everybody who stayed till the very end. I know this was probably my longest video ever, and I'll see you guys in the next one, and peace.